Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. I hope you're well and dandy out there in Beatles land, fellow YouTubers, members of the BC, Beatle community, members of the VC, vinyl community, and record collectors from around the world. Right, yesterday we went to the record fair at Chesterfield, which is about 20 odd miles away from where I live. I was going to do a video, but when we got there my camera decided to not work, so I couldn't take any footage of the actual fair. But I'm going to show you the find. It's going to be a really quick video, just show you basically what I got. If you're in that part of the world, by the way, it is on the second Sunday of every month and it's well worth going. Right, so the first thing that I got, it wasn't just Beatles things that I got a bit of everything. So the first thing that I got was a copy of Jimi Hendrix Experience Axis Bold as Love, and this was £12. I don't think this is an original, but it is on the track label, so it opens up to be a gatefold sleeve. It's quite a psychedelic sleeve actually, this. Be very careful how I do this. No, me, the bloody record will fall out. So that is the, and it comes out, and then the inside is like that. So £12 for Jimi Hendrix LP is not bad, is it? Like I say, it is on track, but I think it's a slightly later copy because it's not on a very thick vinyl. It's 613003A, that's side 1, and 60311003A for side B for side B. That confusing myself. So this is the labels. Track records. Now I must admit, I haven't cleaned any of these yet. I did play a couple yesterday when we got back, and the ones that I played were really good. But I mean, £12 for Jimi Hendrix LP. I know if that was an original 1967 version, it would be worth quite a lot of money. Then, staying on things that you didn't think I'd be getting, I found this. The Who, a quick one. Been after a copy of this for years. Last year, I think it was, I got the double album where it's a quick one is one disc and the Who sellout is the other disc. This is the original on Reaction, and I did play this when I got home. Must admit, I did play it. Naughty because I didn't clean it up. Well, I gave it a quick wipe over. And the labels on these are absolutely amazing. So this is Reaction. Yep, Reaction label. Now this has got a mark just there, but it's non-feelable. And I thought, well, it's not going to play. But that is actually the song, a quick one, where it goes, "My name is Ivor, I'm an engine driver," and it played absolutely fantastic, and that was without a clean. So £10 for that. I couldn't believe it, really couldn't believe it. If you do ever go to the Chesterfield Record Fair, by the way, like I say, it's on every second Sunday of the month, and it's run by AA Record Fairs. There's usually lots of stalls there. There's pricey records, there's cheap records. Basically, there's records from £1 up to hundreds of pounds. I did go, and I set myself a budget, and I was determined not to go past that budget, and of course I didn't stick to it. But as one of the stall holders did inform me, he says the budget's called the budget so that you can move it around. You can budget. This one was probably the most expensive record I bought. £35. And it's Madness, Mad Not Mad. And this is actually from London. Now, the strange thing about this is, as you can see, it's got a signed photograph with it. And it is proper signatures. Because that bit there, where Mike Parson has signed it, has come through onto the other side. And it just says Madness Stiff Records, photo by Simon Fowler. So that is the Nutty Boys. But the strange thing is, when they released this album, they weren't on Stiff anymore, and I think Mike had left, hadn't he? This is on Zarjazz. Which was Madness's own short-lived record label. Now this does need a clean, I must admit it does need a clean. But again, it is one that we actually played yesterday. See, like that, there's a mark there, and it played fine. They all will be getting a proper clean, a deep clean, either later today or tomorrow. So is that worth £35? Well, the album's probably worth a tenner, isn't it, in all fairness? £10–15. It isn't, you know, it is in nice condition. Zarjazz was distributed by Virgin Records. But how much of Madness, how much is that worth? The Nutty Boys signed, how much is that worth? Is it worth more than £25 or more than £35, or is it only worth a couple of pound? I don't know. I'm not really into signatures. I just thought it was really weird seeing that in with that, and that is how it was. It was in with it like that. So any of you lot out there that are really into Madness or into signatures, people like Gav Axman Spins and Nick's Vinyl Butter, you might know about this. Is it worth the signatures? Does it add value to this record? Or, you know, probably the record's, like I say, the record's probably only really worth a tenner, isn't it? But with that, does that make it worth more than £35? I don't know how much Madness signatures go for. So, not that it's going to be sold. That will just be kept like that. So, but it's always nice to know if you've got a bargain, isn't it? Then we got this one. The Beatles Rock and Roll Music Volume 2. Now, I did get one of these when I went to Lichfield the other day, the other week. And I can't remember if it was Volume 2 or Volume 1, but I know it was the later one, which has got the barcode on it. And it's got a slightly different MFP label when they was trying to make it look a bit better. This is in nice condition, actually. Virtually mint condition, this. Again, played this yesterday, and it sounded absolutely fantastic. In fact, Sue told me to turn it up when we sat in the garden and I was drinking beer and singing my head off to it. As you do, folks, as you do. There's a date on that. No. But for £6 for the Beatles album. Year 1980, country, UK. Vinyl condition, excellent. Sleeve condition, excellent. Price, £6. And I think these were the slightly remixed versions that George Martin did, that was rejected by Capitol at the time, when it was a double album. Then this record I've been after for years and years and years and years and years. In 1991, when this record did come out originally, I did have a copy of it, and it is probably one of the best albums that this band have made. And the sad thing is, it's one of the last albums that the singer was actually on. And it's Queen with Innuendo. Now this is a reissue. The chap had got up for £25, and I says, "Can I pay with card?" And he goes, "Well, you can." I says, "I've got to pay with card because I've only got £20." And he goes, "Well, give me £20, mate, and it's yours." It was sealed when I got it, so it was brand new. And this is such a fantastic record. Again, we did play this one yesterday, sat outside. And for saying that Freddie knew he was dying at the time, I think this has got some of his best vocal performances that he ever did with Queen. Yes, there was an album that came out a couple of years after his death that, again, you know, they were recorded while Freddie was still alive. You know, but this is technically the last proper Queen album, isn't it? And this is on a marbly orangey effect vinyl record, and the sound quality on this is amazing. You know, it's just one of those things. What could have been? I mean, he was only in his 40s, wasn't he, when he died? Poor old Freddie. Queen, you know, in the 70s were really, really big, and then they toured South Africa or something, didn't they? And then a lot of places wouldn't play the records anymore. And then when they did the Live Aid, show in 1985. They stole the show basically, didn't the Queen? Some fantastic songs on this there. You've got Innuendo, you've got I'm Going Slightly Mad. I'm going slightly mad. Headlong. I Can't Live Without You. And then Ride the Wild Wind. Then side 2 is All God's People. Those Are the Days of Our Lives. Fantastic song that is. Delilah. Don't Try So Hard. The Hitman. Voodoo. And then The Show Must Go On. Show must go on. Fantastic album. Really is a fantastic album. Now, this next one is a Beatles one. £35. And it's called Unsurpassed Masters. That's all it's called. Unsurpassed Masters. So you get Penny Lane, Norwegian Wood, Flying, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Come and Get It, Lady Madonna, Revolution, it says Effaduck, Sexy Sadie, and then Sexy Sadie. Side 2 is Got to Get You Into My Life, Day Tripper, Blue Jay Way, I Am the Walrus, Rain, I Want You, She's So Heavy, Apple Sessions it says, and then Across the Universe. Now again, this was actually sealed when I bought it, so I didn't know if it was coloured vinyl or not. £25 this was, by the way. But the nice thing with this is you get, for saying it's not an official, you know, Beatles or Apple licensed product, you get this lovely poster of George's psychedelic guitar. And then the labels are the Union flag, or Union Jack, and it's on Caveman Records, which I thought was quite funny because Ringo made a film called Caveman, but this caveman on here is Captain Caveman from the cartoon from the 1970s. Captain Caveman! Again, a marbly effect, turquoisey colour. Sound quality on that is top notch, to be fair. You know, and I don't think I've ever heard any of the versions of these songs on any other album. Could be wrong. They are like outtakes, don't get me wrong, but yeah, slightly different mixes. But yeah, I didn't think that was bad for £25. So it's all mounting up into it, folks. I say I wasn't going to spend a lot of money. It soon mounts up. Then there's this one, Public Image Limited, Johnny Rotten, John Lydon. This was £10, and I don't actually know what this is called, this album. Just have a quick look, because I haven't played this one yet. You do get the inner sheet, and it is on Virgin. Public Image 9 it says. Yeah, it was because it was the 9th album, wasn't it? So you got Happy, Brave New World, Just Like That, Same Old Story, and Amanda. And then on the B side, no like massive hits off. I mean, there were hits, but not like massive hits. You got Happy, Disappointed, Warrior, Sand Coasters in the Sun. Again, needs a good clean. Quite like a bit of Public Image Limited now and again. Not to everybody's taste. You'd call it world music now, wouldn't you? I think like this sort of thing. You know, started off as punk, then it went post-punk, didn't it? And then this was sort of like world music. £10. £10 for Public Image Limited LP. Again, don't think that's too bad. Now we've got another one of those that you probably wouldn't expect me to have. It's Dorelli Gears by Cream. And again, this is an original first pressing. Well, I think it is, because it's on Reaction label, the same as the Who one was. But later copies of this will be on Polydor. And this is in really, really nice condition. I'll show you the label. It is actually really nice condition. Looks like it's hardly ever been played. There's a little bit of dust on it, don't get me wrong. So you got things like, what's on here? Strange Brew, Sunshine for Your Love and things like that on here. Fantastic band in their own right, weren't they really? Cream. But I don't think they really ever get the credit that they deserve. And that was £20. £20 for an original UK first pressing on the Reaction label of that is pretty good. Like I say, usually if you see these, the later issues on Polydor. There's a bit overshadowed, wasn't there, really, by the Jimi Hendrix experience in one way. I like them. I do like Cream. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of theirs, but I've got a couple of albums. Then there's this one. Now this one, I bought this, and I was going to get it as soon as I saw it. I said to you, give me that copy. I had this when I was about 14, maybe 13, and when I was into my punk phase. Yeah, Beatles Dave used to be Punk Rocker Dave, and it's The Exploited with an album called Troops of Tomorrow. And I did have this when it came out, and I think the sleeve on that is a nice bit of art, to be honest. I won't go into the songs because none of you won't know any of the songs, but I always thought they wrote, Troops of Tomorrow, and they didn't. It was actually a cover version, and it's on the Secret record label. So I'm looking forward to playing this. No doubt I'll put it on in a bit, have a can of beer and be bopping around to it and bloody fall over now, my look. £10. That is very, very good for this. I know was it late last year, I was looking at getting this off eBay, and I think the cheapest one I could find was about £35, and it wasn't anywhere in as nice as condition as this. I mean, the record is virtually mint. So £10 you can't moan, can you? Then I got this. This was free. Although it says £3 on it. The chap that I bought the Who a quick one off, I got this as well. And I just says, can you do me a deal? And he goes, yeah, of course, can. It says £10 for both of them. And he goes, yeah, that's okay. Always pays, doesn't it? Right, so this is the Skids with Sweet Suburbia on the A side, and then on the B side it's the Skids with Open Sound from 1980, I think. 1978, sorry. And it's on white vinyl. Beetle bad, coloured vinyl. On the old Virgin label. I don't know if that ever had a proper picture cover to it or not in the UK, but it was nothing, so hey ho. Then we've got this one. This is a bootleg, and it is the first time I've ever seen this out in the wild. I've only ever seen one person on YouTube show this. This is record one of a 2-record set, and it's called The Beatles, and it was £25. So you get a lovely photo of John on the front and a lovely photo of Paul on the back, and then the second disc would have George and Ringo on it, and it's basically sides 1 and 2 of the White Album. So you get Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Glass Onion, Abla Wild Honey Pie, the continuing story of Bungalow Bill, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Happiness is a Warm Gun. Then you've got Martha My Dear, I'm So Tired, Blackbird, Piggies, Rocky Raccoon, Don't Pass Me By, Why Don't We Do It in the Road, I Will, and Julia. And this is a nice thing. It's a picture disc. Picture disc. Again, I haven't played it yet. I don't even know how you get in it. How'd you get in it? Oh, it's tight. The Beatles, Part 1, 1968, original sound recording made by EMI Records Limited. That's Paul. Man, that is John. Now, I've only ever seen this on eBay once before. And okay, it was for both of them. And I think they wanted something stupid like £500 for it. So, for £25, I thought, I'm having it. Now, will I ever find disc 2 or not? I don't know. I shouldn't imagine I ever will. I did look through the pile of records that this was in, or the creative records that this was in, just in case it was there, because you never know, do you? I don't think it's an official release. I think it is a bootleg as such, but it does, you know, it does say original sound recording 1968 EMI Records and copyright 1968 EMI Records and everything at the back there. So, you know, £25. Can't go wrong, can you, folks? £25. And then talking with picture discs, I got this one. This was £5. All of £5 English pounds. Paul McCartney, No More Lonely Nights, extended version. And again, it's picture disc. Quite nice, actually. And then on the back, it is No More Lonely Nights, Silly Love Songs, and No More Lonely Nights Ballad. And then you get like a band sort of photo on that, or the made up band that he was supposed to be in the film. But £5 you can't go wrong, even if you put up on your wall for that. Not that I will do, I will play it, you know, so I thought that was quite nice for £5. Bargain. So out of all them, I don't think I've overpaid for any of them. There's some quite nice ones there that, you know, might be worth a hell of a lot more than what I've paid for them, but that doesn't really matter, folks. I've just brought them to play. But this was probably one of the bargains of the day. This was £1. The Pretenders. And I think this is the second album, isn't it? Because this is one that's got Brass and Pocket on it. And again, condition wise, it's not too bad. You get the original insert. I think that's the original insert, isn't it? And then you get the record itself. Yeah, this has got Kid on it. Kid, Private Life, Brass and Pocket, Lovers of Today, and Mystery Achievement. That's on side one. You have to excuse me because I was in such a hurry to come up and make this video. I've left my glasses downstairs. And then on the B side, or side 2, it's got Phone Call, Tattooed Lover or something, Space Invaders, The Wait, Stop Your Sobbing, the Ray Davies song, Kink song. It is time for you to stop all of your sobbing. Yeah, so I'm going to look forward to play. And that, believe it or not, yes, it does need a clean, but it doesn't look like it's hardly been played. I think most of the dust on that is from being in this old inner sleeve. So that was my little treasures that I found yesterday at the Chesterfield Record Fair. So next time it's on, if you're ever in that part of the world, it's worth going to look for, because there's something for everyone. There was a hell of a lot of jam LPs, and I was looking through them and I couldn't remember which ones I'd got and which ones I hadn't. They'd got Snap, you know, the compilation, and I think that had got a single in with it, or an EP, and I think that was only something like 15 quid. And I was going to go back and get that, and when I did go back, it had gone. So if you ever see something, folks, and you know you want it, get it. That's the moral of the story on that one. Yeah, so that was it. So how many albums did we get? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 albums and 1 single. And my original budget was £50. That was my original budget that I was going to spend, and I think I virtually doubled that, but it's still not as much as what I could have spent, if that makes sense. I'm happy. Sue's happy. Sue actually picked some of those herself. Says, have you got this? Have you got that one? Then obviously we went and had something to eat. I think Sue had steak and ale pie, and I had fish and chips, and then we had a couple of pints. We went down on the bus and we came back on the train, so we make a day of it, which is what you should do. If you know, if you're into going to record fairs and things like that, this is an ideal one to take your wife to, or your partner, or whatever. There's a really good mixture of music. There's lots of dealers there. Like I say, there's, you know, basically records from £1. There was a lot of CDs there, a lot of tapes and things like that there, you know, cassette tapes. You know, some of the records were a bit pricey, but the ones I got, I thought there was absolutely bargains. And there's a good mix of ages there, and you know, there's lots of like women, men, kids of all different ages, and there's something for everybody there. You know, if I'd have just wanted to buy Beatles records, I could just bought Beatles records, you know what I mean? But, you know, when we go there, we do try and get things that are a little bit unusual. I'm still not sure about that Madness one. I don't know if I've overpaid for that or not, £35. Because I don't know if the signatures are real, don't get me wrong, the signatures are real on it, but I don't know if it still makes it worth £35. But even if it doesn't matter, because I haven't got that album anyway. So, and it is one that's got some of the, you know, what's on it? The Sweetest Girl in All the World, isn't it? Which was, although it was released as a single, was a bit of a flop, and it's got Yesterday's Man on it. Yesterday's man, hang on to today. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Usually when this record fair is on, it's usually when I'm at work on a Sunday, so it's not very often I get a chance to go. I think it's only the second time I've ever been there, if I remember rightly. But it's a good day out, especially if the weather's nice and there's lots of cafes around it, and you know, pubs, and you know, it's done in Chesterfield Marketplace. So, you know, you can make a day of it, go with your loved ones, or go, you know, few of you go together. I did also meet a couple of subscribers while I was there that came up and you know, we had a chat and things like that, which was really, really nice. Especially, so hello Andrew and hello Patrick. And I know there was somebody else that sent me a comment yesterday and goes, you know what, I saw you at Chesterfield, I was going to come up and then you'd gone. Well, I don't know, you should have just come up and said, hey, Beatle Dave, how are you? Yeah, really, really enjoyed it, always do. So if you're lucky enough to have record fairs near where you live, just go and support them. You know, sometimes the records can be quite expensive, but I don't think I've overpaid for any of those there, to be honest. I love the Who one, and I love the Cream one. I love Innuendo, the Queen album, and you know, I just basically bought things that I wanted and spent more money than I was intending to, but less than what I could have, if that makes sense, folks. You know, I think we all can go a bit mad sometimes, but yesterday I was quite good in a lot of ways. I could have spent a hell of a lot more money than what I did. I'm totally satisfied with everything that I've got, and you know, if you're watching this, what do you think? Do you think some of these records were overpriced or underpriced? Anybody knows anything about Madness signatures? If you want to put a comment, I'd be more than happy. When I've cleaned and played these, I might do a bit of a more detailed review of certain albums, but I was just that eager to get this out to you where everything's still fresh in my mind, if that makes sense. Yeah, so you know, if you've got, like I say, if you've got record shops and record fairs that go anywhere near you, just go and support them. I mean, even if you go into a local record shop a couple of times a year, that helps them stay in business. And I'm as guilty as everybody else, you know. I do buy things off the internet and things, you know, but we should be trying to support local businesses, especially in this day and age, because there's a lot of businesses going out of, you know, going bust, aren't there, basically. You know, I'm lucky we've got a decent record shop in Derby, and his prices are fantastic anyway, to be honest. Nottingham has actually lost quite a few of their record shops. Last time I went, I was surprised how many have just gone, you know. But yeah, there is still a couple of decent record shops in Nottingham, don't get me wrong. I think the one in Belper Antiques and Record Centre, that's closed down. So, you know, we've got to support these independent traders, shall we say, and keep them in business. And, you know, that is it, basically. You know, I loved it yesterday, really did love it. You know, we had a bit of a strange weekend, and going there yesterday just like sort of like brought it round, if that makes sense. And I always like going to the record fairs anyway that AA Records put on, which is who put this one on. They do them in Nottingham, they do them in Sheffield, they do them in Lincoln. They basically go all around the Midlands, I think, and further. I can't remember where they do one in Worksop or Warsop. They do one in, can't remember now, but just check them out. And that's going to be it. So peace, love and happiness to you all. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and whatever you're doing, please stay safe. Remember, you are the Beatle Dave, and Beatle Dave loves you all. So until the next video, which might be tomorrow, it might be further on in the week, I don't know. Peace, love and happiness to you all, and cheers, and thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. If you liked it, by the way, just leave me a thumbs up, and if you want to leave any comments, please do. And that's it. So until the next time, it's bye bye everybody. Bye bye. Bye.